Your dog walks across the room, comes straight to you, and then sits directly on your feet. Not beside you, not near you, on your feet. Most people think this is just a funny habit, a comfortable place to sit, maybe even a sign that the dog is being clingy. But what if that behavior means something much deeper? What if your dog is communicating something important every time it chooses your feet over every other spot in the house? Because hidden inside this simple behavior is a story about trust, protection, connection, and a relationship that began thousands of years ago. And once you understand the real reason, you may never look at your dog the same way again. Most dog owners have a simple explanation for this behavior. They assume their dog sits on their feet because it wants attention. Maybe it wants to be petted. Maybe it wants a treat. Maybe it simply enjoys being close. And honestly, those explanations seem reasonable. After all, dogs are social animals. They form strong bonds with the people they live with. Anyone who has owned a dog knows how often they follow their favorite person from room to room. So when a dog sits on someone's feet, it is easy to assume the answer is obvious. The dog loves its owner, case closed. But animal behavior is rarely that simple, because if closeness was the only goal, there are countless other places a dog could choose. It could sit beside you, it could lie behind you, it could curl up on a nearby rug, it could rest on the couch. Yet, many dogs repeatedly choose the exact same spot, your feet. That raises an interesting question. What makes your feet different from every other location in the room? And why do so many dogs make the same choice? The answer begins when we stop looking at the behavior as a habit and start looking at it as communication. One of the biggest mistakes humans make when interpreting dogs is assuming that behavior happens without purpose. Dogs may not use words, but they communicate constantly. They communicate through posture, through movement, through eye contact, through distance. And through physical contact, behavior experts often study where dogs position themselves because location can reveal motivation. A dog resting near a doorway may be monitoring activity. A dog hiding under a table may be seeking security. A dog lying in the middle of a room may be trying to stay aware of everything happening around it. Position matters. In fact, among social animals, position often carries meaning. Researchers who study wolves, wild dogs, and other social species have repeatedly observed that physical placement is rarely random. Animals choose locations that help them gather information, maintain connection, or increase safety. That means when your dog repeatedly chooses your feet, there is a good chance it is doing more than finding a comfortable place to sit. It may be accomplishing something important. But what exactly? To answer that, we need to understand how dogs evolved. And this is where the story becomes much more fascinating. Thousands of years ago, the ancestors of modern dogs survived through cooperation. Life depended on staying connected to trusted members of the group. Being isolated created risk. Being connected increased the chances of survival. Scientists who study social mammals have found that physical proximity serves several important functions. It helps individuals monitor one another. It helps maintain social bonds, and it provides reassurance during uncertain situations. For highly social species, contact is not simply emotional, it is practical. Imagine living in an environment where losing track of your group could mean danger. In that world, staying connected becomes incredibly valuable. Although modern dogs no longer face the same challenges as their ancestors, many of those social instincts remain. Research has shown that dogs form attachment bonds with humans that resemble the attachment patterns seen between children and caregivers. Dogs often use their owners as a secure base. They feel more confident exploring when trusted humans are nearby. They become calmer when reunited after separation, and they frequently seek physical proximity during moments of uncertainty. This helps explain something important. When your dog sits directly on your feet, it creates continuous physical awareness. It does not need to constantly watch you. It does not need to repeatedly check your location. The connection is immediate. The moment you shift your weight, your dog knows. The moment you stand up, your dog knows. The moment you begin walking away, your dog knows. What appears to be a simple resting position may actually be a highly effective way of staying connected to the person it trusts most. But surprisingly, that is still not the deepest reason, because there is another layer hidden beneath this behavior, and it reveals something many owners never consider. Think about the world from your dog's perspective. Humans rely heavily on language. Dogs do not. Instead, they gather information through observation, scent, sound, and physical contact. Your dog pays attention to details you barely notice. The sound of your footsteps, the rhythm of your breathing, the way you move through the house, the subtle changes in your routine. To your dog, you are not simply another member of the household. You are often the most important figure in its social world. You provide safety. You provide predictability. You provide guidance. Because of that, staying connected to you has enormous value. Physical contact becomes a shortcut to information. It allows your dog to remain aware without constantly monitoring you visually. This is especially common in dogs that have strong attachment bonds with their owners. Behaviorists sometimes describe this as social monitoring. Dogs naturally keep track of individuals who matter to them, not because they are obsessed, not because they are controlling, but because maintaining awareness strengthens social connection. And here is the interesting part. Many owners interpret this behavior as neediness, yet in many cases, it is actually confidence. A dog that trusts you deeply often wants to remain connected to you. Trust creates closeness, not just fear, not just insecurity. Trust. But there is another surprising possibility. Sometimes, your dog is not only seeking protection from you, sometimes it may feel protective toward you. Most people think protection flows in one direction. Human protects dog. Dog receives protection. Simple. But dogs often see relationships differently. Many breeds were developed to work alongside humans. Some guarded homes, some protected livestock, some monitored surroundings, others stayed close to people while performing important tasks. Even today, traces of those instincts remain. Behavior specialists frequently observe dogs positioning themselves in strategic locations, near entrances, near hallways, near pathways, near areas where movement occurs, and sometimes directly on their owner's feet. Why? Because that position allows them to remain connected while also staying aware of the environment. Your dog may not be consciously thinking about protection the way humans do, but instinct often influences behavior without conscious thought. The dog feels comfortable there. The position feels right. The location allows awareness, and awareness has always been valuable. This does not mean your dog believes danger is around every corner. Far from it. In most cases, the behavior reflects comfort rather than concern. Yet it reveals something meaningful. Your dog does not always see itself as a passive recipient of care. Sometimes it behaves like an active member of the team, a companion, a partner, a participant in the relationship. And that changes the emotional meaning of the behavior completely. When people hear the word clingy, they often imagine dependence. They imagine a dog that cannot function without constant attention. But sitting on your feet often tells a very different story. It tells a story about connection, about trust, about belonging. Your dog is choosing proximity because proximity feels meaningful. Think about that for a moment. Your home contains countless places to rest. Soft beds, comfortable rugs, quiet corners. Yet your dog repeatedly chooses the place where physical contact with you is guaranteed. That choice matters because dogs invest their attention carefully. They stay close to what matters. And when your dog chooses your feet, it is making a statement without words. You matter. Your presence matters. Your location matters. The bond matters. What looks insignificant from a human perspective may feel deeply important from a canine perspective. And once you recognize that, the behavior begins to feel less like a habit and more like a relationship. But there is still one more layer to uncover. Because sometimes this behavior appears most strongly during emotional moments. And that is not a coincidence. Researchers have discovered something remarkable about dogs. They are highly sensitive to human emotions. Studies suggest that dogs can recognize changes in facial expressions, vocal tones, body language, and emotional states. Many owners have experienced this firsthand. A difficult day, a stressful moment, a period of sadness, and suddenly the dog seems unusually close. It follows more often, it rests nearby, or it sits directly on your feet. Why does this happen? Because social connection becomes especially valuable during uncertainty. Dogs notice changes even when we say nothing. They may not understand the reason behind our emotions, but they often recognize that something feels different, and their response is frequently the same. Move closer, stay connected. Maintain contact. This behavior may provide reassurance for the dog, but it may also be part of how dogs respond to the emotional states of people they care about. In other words, your dog may not simply be seeking comfort, it may also be offering it, not through words, not through advice, but through presence. And sometimes presence is enough. So why does your dog sit on your feet? The hidden reason is not a single explanation. It is a combination of instincts, emotions, and social bonds working together. Sometimes your dog wants awareness. Sometimes it wants reassurance. Sometimes it wants physical connection. Sometimes it wants to stay informed about your movements. Sometimes it feels safest near you, and sometimes it may simply enjoy being part of your space. The exact motivation can vary from dog to dog, even from moment to moment. But beneath all those possibilities lies one consistent theme: connection. Your dog is choosing connection, not abstract connection, not distant connection. Physical connection, the kind that can be felt instantly, the kind that requires no words, the kind that says, "I know where you are, and I want to stay close." Once you understand that, the behavior stops looking random. It starts looking intentional, and that changes everything. The next time your dog walks across the room and settles on your feet, pause before dismissing it as a quirky habit. Look at the moment differently. Because what seems ordinary may actually be one of the clearest expressions of your relationship. Your dog could choose any place in the house, yet it chooses the place closest to you. Not because your feet are special, but because you are. For your dog, that small point of contact creates reassurance, awareness, comfort, trust, and belonging. It is a quiet reminder of a bond built through thousands of shared moments. The walks, the routines, the games, the conversations your dog never understood but listened to anyway. The difficult days, the happy days, the simple act of being there. When your dog sits on your feet, it may be saying something far deeper than most people realize, not with words, not with gestures, but with a choice repeated again and again. I want to stay connected to you, and perhaps that is the hidden reason behind this behavior. Not clinginess, not coincidence, but connection, a simple act carrying a powerful message. The person I trust most is right here, and that is exactly where I want to be. Does your dog sit on your feet? If it does, tell us about it in the comments below. When does it happen most often? During quiet evenings? While you work? Or whenever you are standing in the kitchen? And if this video helped you see your dog's behavior in a completely new way, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more fascinating insights into the hidden psychology of dogs.